Hope you all are healthy and safe. My name is Rahul Soni and I am Program Director at TCS IN Direct Academy Channel. I will be your host for today's talk show. On behalf of TCS IN Direct, I welcome you all to webinar on the topic Careers in Artificial Intelligence. Artificial intelligence promises to deliver some of the most significant and disruptive innovations of this century. Cars, robotic assistants, and automated disease diagnosis. All of these are the products of an emerging AI revolution that will reshape how we live and work. And with the demand of talented engineers almost doubling in the last few years, there are limitless opportunities for professionals who want to work on the cutting edge technology of AI research and development. So to understand more about the scope, new trends, and potential in this intriguing field of AI, artificial intelligence, we have invited a very special guest, Dr. Aruna Tiwari ma'am from IIT Indore. Dr. Aruna Tiwari ma'am is an associate professor of computer science and engineering at Indian Institute of Technology Indore since 2012. Earlier, she was associate professor and reader in Central India's esteemed college, Shri Govindram Saxena Institute of Technology and Science, Indore. She is a PhD in computer science and engineering from RGBP Bhopal. Her research interests include soft computing skills, neural network, fuzzy clustering, evolutionary computation, genome analysis, and healthcare applications. Her research group is working on these techniques to accomplish the goals of data mining, machine learning, big data analytics, and hardware realization. She has many publications in peer-reviewed journals of IEEE Transactions, Elsevier, and Springer. Also includes international conferences and book chapters. She is doing research in collaboration with CSIR, Seri Pilani, York University, UK Center for Development of Advanced Computing, Pune, and Indian Institute of Soybean Research, which comes under Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Warm welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thanks Mr. Rahul for introducing me, and thanks for TCS team for inviting in this webinar, especially for artificial intelligence. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. It's all our pleasure, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Start the show by asking the first question to Varuna ma'am about the basics of artificial intelligence and what is it and what are the various facets of AI. Over to you.
Yeah. So, as of my understanding, as we discussed with Mr. Rahul previously and got to know that variety of participants are here, starting from class 9 till, undergraduate students, postgraduate students. And I'm assuming that the community would like to do research in this area as well. And maybe they are employees of some organization, may not be of a computer science area, they are non-computer science person as well. So looking at that aspect of the variety of participants, I am responding to Rahul's questions. So as he asked, what is AI? Let's start with it, and what are the various facets of AI? So to have understanding of artificial intelligence, you can quickly understand the terms which are used here, artificial and intelligence. Now, as a human being, we know whatever task we are going to do, it is being done by virtue of our intelligence. Number of tasks, enormous number of tasks we are going to do in our everyday life. So how it is possible to complete that task efficiently, or how we can improve to perform that task in more and more efficient manner? It is because of our intelligence. Now, if you look at the artificial intelligence, obviously we want to attach this intelligence term with the devices, right? And we want that machines must work in the manner the human beings are capable of doing that work. And look at the number of tasks which we are going to do. In the same manner, we want to embed that intelligence with the dummy systems, the machines. Now, if you look at the various facets, obviously you might have heard about various other terms, not only artificial intelligence, maybe machine learning is one of the alternative terminology which is used. However, if you look at artificial intelligence term, it was officially introduced in 1956. Later on in 70s, 80s, machine learning term came into picture by looking at that people started working, embed the artificial intelligence with the various types of devices. It was not limited to the computer system. It was started embedding the intelligence with any device. It may be manufacturing device, It may not necessarily be electronic device. It could be hydraulic device. It could be motor. It could be machine. It could be vehicle. And as you heard from Rahul as well, the robotics and different kinds of machine. And nowadays you are looking at the phone. Smartphones is a very good example of intelligence, because intelligence is embedded. That's why we call it as a smart. So it's not limited to any system, computing system. It is with various types of devices. So looking at the various areas where this intelligence were embedded, and hence the artificial intelligence paradigm enriched with lot of other areas. Why? Because researchers, innovators always wanted the way human beings work in the same way devices will work. Now, how we are going to work? How do we take inputs from the external world and we are going to execute our tasks through, say, for example, 5 sensors. We can see the world, we can sense the world, okay, we can speak, we can communicate. Now, if we can see the world, that means the computer vision area was introduced. That is one of the facets. Then I can speak. So speech recognition systems are developed, right? I can communicate in any kind of language if I am efficient in that language. That way the natural language processing paradigm came into picture. So again, by understanding the analogy, the way human beings work, by making use of their natural intelligence, the same kinds of areas were derived from this big paradigm of artificial intelligence. And that's why you might have heard about various terms like machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, right? Expert systems, neural networks. Why neural network? Because the intelligence lying here in our brain, and which is made up of several neurons, biological neurons. And that's why the term derived artificial neural network. That is again a very important paradigm nowadays, because all of you are come across with the buzzword deep learning. Now, why intelligence? Intelligence is there, but without learning or without performing that task repeatedly, we cannot improve that efficiency of working or solving a particular problem, right? That means learning is the term which is very important for human beings to do something very intelligently, or to do something very efficiently, or to compete the world. In the same way, if we come to the device part, and if we say I am developing intelligence within that device, I am working in the artificial intelligence area, the important aspect is how do you make it efficient? That means learning is very important aspect. So as far as somebody says what is AI? AI is making the devices, the dumb system, intelligence by incorporating the learning or handling with the help of some, and that will be possible only with the learning algorithms. And hence so many such paradigms have been derived from the artificial intelligence. In short, I would like to say it as AI.
So thanks a lot, ma'am. It's really interesting to know about the various facets of artificial intelligence from you. And you rightly suggested and pointed out learning is the term to do human beings to do efficiently. So it's very important for devices also. We have to basically train them. So coming to the next question, why is AI so relevant in all fields today? Because we all are surrounded by technologies that are involved in AI. Please, ma'am.
Yeah. So nowadays, everyone is talking about this artificial intelligence. It could be in the government sector, industry sector, education sector, health sector, and all those things. When people started working, making the machines, the dumb machine intelligence for solving different kinds of problems, as we work for anything, what do we want? That we want to do it very efficiently. In lesser time, we want more output. Now, to increase efficiency of any system, if you are able to embed the intelligence or increase the level of intelligence, obviously you will have more outcome in lesser manner, in efficient manner, with the acceptable performance, right? So when people were realized that, in fact, when people or the researchers introduced the term machine learning, that means they observed that any device, any machine can become intelligent by embedding the chips. After the discovery of the chips, which is an electronic chip, what is mean by chip, and that can be embedded, and within that chip we can embed the program software by which the system will become intelligent. Like washing machine is one of the very good example. Automated washing machine, most of the people are using nowadays. They are They don't want to do anything. They want to just load the washing machine with the cloths, switch on everything, and it will be regulated on its own, intaking of water, maintaining the temperature, and with the proper time period, it keeps going on all the things, and we'll have a dry cloths after all, and we just switch off it, right? So much automation is there, but it is because of the chip which is embedded within that washing machine. Some software is embedded, which is obviously an intelligent computing software or a AI software, right? So that thing is embedded within the chip, which is taking care of all these automation, which I am talking about. But what that intelligent computing algorithm perform? It is intelligent algorithm because it is learned, it is trained just like a human being, right? If somebody is teaching the human beings for driving a car, it's not a one-day job, we know. Okay, if the person maybe 16 years old person start learning the driving the car, so it will take some time. Okay, first day you may be joining some car driving school and you are unable, you start from the simulator, and coming on the road will take 4-5 days of time. When you are on the road, still you will take more time to work on the highways, in the market and various places, right? So we realize like bicycle learning itself for a kid after 5 years is a typical task. It's not so easy. Why it takes time? Because the human being's mind is getting trained by time. He come across with various situations in front of him, and he is able to take the decision that what to do whenever such situations are coming. Unless and until we come across with the number of situations, we are unable to say that we are expert of solving that problem. We are unable to say that a school-going student can drive the bicycle from Bhargava Square to the Choitram Hospital. It's really difficult for a 5-year-old kid. But when become 10 years or 15 years, okay, you can drive from Bhargava Square to, why? Because within 5 or 6 years of time, because he is regularly operating on it, and mind is getting trained, learned. So, and by virtue of intelligence, only we are able to learn all those things, and we are able to make the decision. That means wherever decisions are required, you can say that that problem could be artificial intelligence problem, because that is one of the aspects when one would like to work in this area, right? So, as Rahul asked that why AI is so relevant in the field today, because every area, if you look at the health sector area, disease diagnosis thing is required, want to automate the things to have more output within short period of time. Okay. Now, because data is lot of data available nowadays everywhere due to the introduction of internet, and high performance computing systems are available with us. When resources was the crunch, nobody was able to think about the AI to embed with the machines. But when so much resources are available, so much high performance computing devices available. In fact, the government of India already has taken initiative to establish several supercomputers across the national level organization, and they are giving the they are opening the doors to every organization, every institute, every industry to make use of those resources, to introduce more and more AI computing thing in their work, to introduce productivity, to ease the solutions to the public domain in faster manner, in efficient manner. So it may be software industry, it may be manufacturing industry, it may be healthcare sector, it may be education sector. Everywhere people nowadays, during pandemic time, the things are again moving towards making use of AI, how to solve the things in online manner in better way, because things are available in software form itself. So it's very easy to make use of that thing as a data and to start learning over it and make it intelligent computing solutions. So that's what, everybody is realizing that AI is fruitful, that can be incorporated in their problem solving approaches. It could be any area.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for explaining with the relevant questions. After listening to you, I can say AI is being used in every field and has a huge scope. Coming to the next question, ma'am, what is the scope of AI if we talk about from career perspective?
Yeah. So as it interrelates with the previous question, that why it is relevant AI usage in several problem domains. As far as career perspective is concerned, Because I want to say again, I was thinking when Rahul was introducing, in fact, Rahul was introducing about this topic, that what is this topic, the goal of this topic, and why this is a hot topic today for every person. The reason, the one of the point I can catch and tell you, that innovation and research. If you want to do innovation and research quickly, then you can think of how I can introduce AI part in it, so that the way I'm applying my intelligence, that intelligence could be trained with the system, and the similar task can be done multiple times in better way by the machine. Okay, so something if we are doing manually, for example, a shopping, in case of a shopping website, you are purchasing lot of material. Let us take the example of clothes. So shopping website want to record that how many cloths are purchased by several customers during different weather conditions, winter situation, summer situation, rainy situation, and likings of the clothes keep on changing. That is also a thing. Now the shopkeeper or these cloth market would like to make their inventory up to date in every weather. Like as soon as summer is coming, they must keep the stock up to date, that these kinds of cloths are in great demand. How they are going to decide it? They have to make the decision beforehand. It's not like that summer season started April and no such cloths are available in the market. They must be ready to tackle such challenges. That means they have taken some decisions beforehand, before start of that season. And how it was possible for them? Because since years they were looking at the likings of the customer when situation or the weathers keep on changing, that these kinds of cloths are in great demand during these months. Okay, so say if it is switching, say from February to March, then gradually likings are changing from woolen to say cotton cloths. That means they are recording somewhere the data, they are recording somewhere the information, and based on that information they are deciding it. Now if that record is manual, and since years, can you analyze the 10 years data in one shot? We cannot. So sometimes it's very difficult for us to take the decisions quickly. Now if that 10 years data we want to analyze with the machine, it's definitely possible with computer system, with the AI softwares. So wherever decision making thing is coming based on some past data, we can introduce AI there. So like keeping the shopping mall up to date with respect to the different season, the variety of clothes is an example of decision making problem. That means we can introduce intelligent computing. In some software, we take that shopping data regularly, say past 10 years of data, and based on that, we can quickly make the predictions for them that these kind of cloths are in great demand. So keep this inventory up to date and make this quantity up to this number. And accordingly, the manufacturer was well informed by the shopkeeper that I want this much stock, and then the things will be available on time. So, everywhere this kind of thing happen, that you may work in any area. For example, you may be working in the accounting area. Decision-making aspects are always involved there for accounting financial people. If you look at stock market people, they are also worrying about the lots of predictions, right? So as far as the career perspective is concerned in AI, the stakeholders who are working in different areas, they come across with many such problems where decision making is to be done in efficient manner, fastly, with past historical information. Now in that case, you must think of that I can introduce AI there. You may not be the AI person, you may not be the computer science person, but at least you are the domain person. You are able to tell that here I am stuck in and I am unable to increase my productivity. This is the stopping point. Now what to do? You can approach to the people who are working in that area or somewhere, and then you can discuss with them. And as a domain expert, you can take help from other people. So those points I will discuss in coming discussions to solve their problems in faster manner. It may be from the educational perspective, they want to avail the degree, PhD degree, but it's not just availing the degree. You must make use of all those things in real application. That's the final goal of making yourself educated or availing the higher degrees. So you must be very well aware of the domains where your research will be useful, where your innovation will be useful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. With your key insights, hope our viewers might get overall perspective about the career path to enter in the field of artificial intelligence. So coming to the next question, ma'am, please tell us about the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics.
In 1956, various people have given thought over this, that can we introduce the intelligence just like human being with the dumb computer system. So that time it was termed as artificial intelligence, and it was standardized at the international level in big forum in 1956. Later on, when people initiated working on several other aspects of artificial intelligence like neural networks, computer vision, and obviously everyone was thinking over, due to the innovation of VLSI technology, the chip technology, people were very comfortable to introduce the software features within the hardware also, and that is used to call as embedding of softwares within the hardware or any machine. It may be the car, or it may be engine, or it may be washing machine. It is in front of us, and many such devices. In fact, the phone or anywhere you can embed the chip and you can make the device automated one. And after discovering all those things, the term artificial intelligence was finally used as machine learning. So as such, machine learning is not a different term, different paradigm. We can say machine learning is derived from the artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence is the big paradigm, or like mother of all these terms which nowadays people are using, which I already told you in the first question when we were discussing about the facets of AI. And why am I learning? Because without learning, you cannot make the machine intelligent, and that's why machine. So this is how you can find out what is artificial intelligence and what is machine. If you look at the data analytics, just now I discussed with you the shopping example, that how the shopkeeper can maintain the inventory, the stock within the store in a specific season with a particular kind of cloth, based on the past information, based on the past data, right? Without past data, we cannot do anything. In fact, human beings, if you look at anyone doing any problem solving task, like a particular, let us take the example of the school going kid. Now learning the vocabulary. Now within one day, he or she cannot learn. He will take some time to collect the words and all those things. So why he keep on learning the things? Because of the past information. If he is unable to remember the past information, the next thing or new things cannot be discovered. That means past data is always important whenever we talk about the decision-making methodologies, whenever we talk about the intelligent computing methodologies, right? So data is an important thing. If data is not properly analyzed, you cannot do anything in the machine learning, because machine learning will teaches you the different learning methodologies through which you can train the device. But what information is to be inputted to that learning thing? Some inputs are needed to train it properly. Now, what are those inputs? Those inputs are nothing, they are data. Now, nowadays, data could be in any form. Data could be audio, data could be video, it could be text. If you look at a social networking site, lot of text keep on coming. Now, and after all, when we talk about the AI computing softwares, they are executed on computer kind of systems with the processors, and they are number processing system. A school going kid knows that computer is a number processing system. So whatever inputs we are giving for our problem solutions, say face recognition is a software which is a decision making software. So what is face? Face is a video, right? Now how do we transform that video into number form? Because computer system is a number processing system. If you talk about the learning algorithm, it is number processing system. So every kind of input must be transformed to the number form. And that translation must be in such a manner so that the features should not be lost. Otherwise, whatever inputs you are giving, they will be changed, and then the decision making will not be proper one. And that's why it's a data analytics paradigm came into picture, because lot many such data on which, data analytics is a different course, we can say, in computer science area, where it teaches you the different mathematical analytical approaches through which you study that how do you transform the variety of data into the appropriate number form, so that it will be further usable by the machine learning algorithms or AI softwares. So I hope you understood the importance of data, and that's why the data analytics, in fact, data science, all these things are very important paradigms nowadays if we interrelate with the artificial intelligence.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you. This is an eye-opener to all the participants, including me also, because generally we have such confusions about the important terms and what is the difference between them. So thanks for clearing so nicely by putting the relevant examples. So, ma'am, coming to the next question, what are the three latest trends as we are observing in the field of artificial intelligence and after this pandemic also?
Yeah. So as everybody is realizing now a need of artificial intelligence after initiating this pandemic, everything is becoming online and there is a need to go ahead. In fact, because a lot of data available online, so it's feasible for us to make use of artificial intelligence or machine learning aspects or technologies to solve our problems, a particular kind of problem. And many of you might be knowing that Internet of Things is very common term which is now applicable, because it's not limited to a single computer system, maybe multiple devices you want to control with your AI softwares. Big data, because whole world is connected with this internet and huge data keep on coming. So whatever AI solutions we are building, in fact, we are doing the research in this area, big data area, as Rahul already introduced. I established Big Data Handling Lab also. The challenge is whatever data we are working with or developing the learning algorithms, are we able to handle any amount of data? Because data is not limited. If we are limiting the data, because if you are working with one machine, its memory is limited, right? But for the external world, they do not think that your memory is limited, and that's why you don't want to execute anything or don't want to apply your intelligence or the learning algorithm. We must have such an assumption with our learning tools or the machine learning tools that can handle any amount of enormous data. And cloud technology introduced, and you can, in fact, Amazon cloud, this cloud, that cloud. In fact, government having its own Garuda cloud, so we can have access with very less cost. We can access that storage infrastructure, and many such infrastructure available with government initiative, like lots of supercomputing facility. They provide you huge storage. So if such unlimited resources are available, we can handle big data very easily. So if you look at three terms which are very famous nowadays, and in fact you must also think over it whenever you work in any domain and think about your career: IoT, big data, and obviously data analytics, which we just discussed. This is always a challenge because data could be in any form, and your learning algorithm must accept any form of the data and can solve the problem. Right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for explaining this. So I can see here so many questions. So I just want to club these questions with my question. For example, Kunal Bhagat and Raj Vora is asking, after BCom or after engineering, how they can enter into the field of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, BCom, and one more is?
Engineering.
Engineering, yeah. So, as I already told you that because if you look at the AI usage, there is no limit nowadays. It is interdisciplinary. BCom person, they are more focused on the accounting side. I am not knowing much of the detail, but commerce means related to accounting and all. And accounting, lots of decision-making things are involved there, right? Related to income tax, related to regular increments. There are so many aspects, and commerce person can understand it quickly. So, and in fact, a lot of statistics periodically also required, maybe within 15 days, a month, a year, and so many consolidated reports are to be generated and a lot of decisions are to be taken. Whenever decision-making thing will come, you must think that I can incorporate AI, right? But how you can incorporate AI, because you are not the AI expert, you can approach to some expert person, you're fortunate that you have internet facility nowadays. Our time it was not there, so we physically go and meet the domain experts and discuss with them, and then find out what technology will be applicable. But with internet, you can find out lots of demonstration and usage, that how in my problem solution I can incorporate AI. Or if whatever you are doing, you can extend your problem, you can increase your problem in such a manner so that other intelligent aspects can also be introduced. If such aspects you are introducing in your domain, it's not only BCom or engineering or agriculture, or it is limited to say humanities or economics. There are several such specialization. I am saying everywhere this AI is applicable. The only thing is you should identify your problem, that some decision making aspect is there, right? Cognitive science, biology, chemistry people. If you come to IIT Indore, everyone is using AI. Everyone will demonstrate to you that in my research I am using AI. You can meet physics professor, you can meet astronomy professor, you can meet chemistry, because everywhere some decision making aspect is there, and they can do decision making aspect only basis of their past information. This is always the need. So if you come across with such issues, you can definitely apply AI in our regular life. Everywhere you can think of that if we want to do with the device, how we can do. You always keep on thinking, your mind always keep on thinking. If I take this or that, then what will happen when you are eating? When you are wearing the cloth, you can look at the past things. When on this particular day, if I am going in this occasion, what to wear? That means you are recalling the past information, and it is inputting your mind, and that's how your intelligent computing brain is reacting, and you are quickly deciding that this is the solution for this problem. So you apply same aspect with your studies. Whatever you are studying on, obviously in every curriculum, small projects or case studies are incorporated, which I know because I used to go for examination at undergraduate level, postgraduate level. I have seen a school curriculum also because my son is studying 11th class, and so we are aware of that. This is already added in the curriculum. The only thing you have to understand that here the intelligent decision making thing is done, and in that case you should think of applying AI, and you can take help of many stakeholders. Maybe you can approach to IIT Indore and other organizations, the research institute, and they will definitely help you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So coming to the next question, ma'am, please tell us about the best AI tools and techniques. Also, I'm sure that job is not the only option in the AI field. AI knowledge can like to create enterprise also by self. So what do you suggest? How can we apply the knowledge in both the things?
Yeah. So it is true that it's not necessary that you're a computer science person or it's only for the purpose of achieving some degree and that's why you want to incorporate AI. It's not like that. And as far as tools, let's first let me know you about the tools right now people are using. Very common tools like TensorFlow, PyTorch, this Keras and Scikit-learn, MaxNN. So these are different products available and which basically work on Python programming language. Why? Because it is having inbuilt machine learning library, rich library. So as such, if you are not very much efficient in programming, by learning these APIs, you can do your coding and solving your problem quickly. And a lot of such solutions available, and in fact tutorials are available and you can do it fastly. Now as far as the second point is concerned, that it's not necessary for availing the job, and in fact to create an enterprise, like enterprise, I would like to make it clear this term. The enterprise is like, we can say you can have some new plans or projects mainly for the business ventures, and like you are thinking that I want to develop my own startup or the company, okay, in such a way so that I will go ahead with more and more profit level, and that's how the enterprise is going to be thought about nowadays. So this is possible, but in this case, you have to approach to some collaborators. They may be organizers, or they may be the domain experts for whom you're establishing that enterprise. So first you find out the customers of similar kind, and then you identify that this is the need for providing the solution. And then you think of that now I can establish such an enterprise or a small company or the startup because it's in a great need, right? And so that you must think about the solution, the AI solution which you want to develop will be sustainable for some number of years. Okay, because if you are developing some solution, it must be in the market for some years. Say for 1 year, if it is becoming obsolete, it's not of any use, and you cannot compete in the market. Some other companies will come and catch it. So that means proper study, proper understanding of the area or the domain is needed, where for which you are going to think that I can establish my enterprise or my own startup or my own company, because it is in great demand and lot of such customers keep on coming for years. And I am providing some competitive solutions, and for that obviously you need to approach to the people who are doing research in this area or already they established their big companies and all those things. That help is definitely required if you are establishing your own enterprise. So these skills are to be learned, and the students who are doing their graduation or studies in their organizations or institute, they are having such departments, like management department is a separate department. You can approach to those professors. In city, you can approach to other organization. You can have discussions. On internet also you can communicate to anyone nowadays. It's very easy. A lot of such sites available. You can put your question and you will have an answer, right? So there are many ways through which you can think about and you can establish your own enterprise.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a really important information. So anyone can use the AI structure and set up his enterprise or her enterprise. A very important question is coming from the audience side. Mudita is asking, are the jobs in this industry going to reduce with more and more use of AI? As we all are going
this question always comes. I want to let you know, all the participants, that recently last month, I was the panel member in one of the internationalist podcast series by Association of Commonwealth University, and same question was there, that with this AI it will reduce the employment. So it's not like that. Government itself is saying, Government of India is also have initiative for promoting the AI, and so many policies have already been introduced. So after all, government is planning about this employment thing. Okay, so policies are framed and there is a limit for everything. Everything having its pros and cons, right? And it is up to us, because it is under obviously human control. Everything is under human control. We are the innovators and we are the users, we are the developers, we are everyone. It comes under the ministries, it comes under the government, that how they are framing the policy to limit the usage of AI in a particular domain. If they are restricting the use of somewhere like shopping, if you want to make, say, I went UK before 2 years, I have seen there the population is very less. So even on petrol pump, nobody is there for filling the petrol. It is surprising in India. Can you fill up petrol yourself? Can you operate that system yourself? No, because we are not habitual of it. Okay, and we cannot replace it. We don't want to replace it. However, we can, because technologies are there, but we don't want to replace it. So government has already taken initiative and they are framing the policies that what can be done or what can be automated, what cannot be automated. In UK, it is operated by the single person, the person who is driving the car. He comes out of the car, will do everything, and most of the things are automated. Billing, everything. Here we are not replacing that thing. However, we have funds, we can do that, but we have enough population, so stakeholders are doing that job. So it's up to us that what we want to replace and what we don't want to. So many such examples you can take, that if this thing can be automated, can we do this thing? Then you can relate it the overall scene which is available within the country, and based on which the decisions will be taken And obviously we must have a balance on this thing.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for explaining this by giving the relevant examples. So as we are running short of time, so directly I will ask for your final remarks for the students.
On the same lines, I want to say that the students would like to develop their career, or a common man would like to make use of this AI technology. And I want to tell the specific policies which has already been introduced to the national level institute by Government of India, which is not specific to artificial intelligence. I want to take the names which are available with all IITs and IITs. So being a IIT professor, I want to share that Ek Bharat Shresh Bharat is one of the policy which is introduced by Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister. Rural Technology Action Group is another policy which is introduced to all IIT. I am representing Rural Technology Action Group since 1 year, and I am playing the role of one of the person who is collaborating with IIT Delhi and working for farmers for 16 villages of Rajasthan. And recently I started working for Indore region as well, contacted with lots of NGOs, and even they are not aware of that this task can be done in automated manner. They will save a lot of energy. So, this RUTAC policy initiated by the Government of India, and under this policy they have funded so that the students will have opportunity to work for these problems, right? And even NGOs will be attracted, and they can make use of the IIT infrastructure as well. Like Indore having IIT, so why not you interact with the IIT people some way, through some policies, through short-term courses, you interact and you will come to know what you can do and what you cannot do, and what you can go ahead. One more policy like Uchchatar Avishkar. Now in Uchchatar Avishkar, this policy of Government India is collecting educational organization with industries. This policy is likewise, whenever they ask for the proposal, they say that you must have at least one industry collaborator. That means they want that whatever industry is doing, it must reach to the public domain. So, government has already developed so many policies and so many, the usage of different technology on which the current technological things, it's not only artificial intelligence, it may be nanotechnology, it may be VLSI technology, it may be related to mechanics, or it may be related to geology. Any new innovations, whatever happening within educational or research institute, they want that will reach to the common man. Maybe from the education perspective, maybe from the actual usage perspective, maybe knowledge perspective, it could be anything, but in balanced manner. So whatever we discussed till now, from career point of view, from the employment point of view, from enterprise establishment point of view, or say the knowledge point of view, or the common man solution point of view, who is unaware of, in fact, who is uneducated. For example, farmer, uneducated, still operate mobile phone. So we provide the solution of that mobile app for, say, identifying that water level is proper or not. On that problem I am working actually, so contacting so many people, so realizing that aspect as well. And there we are using AI as well. And IIT Delhi already developed mechanical device. We are connecting with our mobile app. So two technologies are integrating. So this AI is becoming interdisciplinary, and across the different disciplines and different areas, this AI will be usable, and that's why we can make our innovation and research in more fruitful manner.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for your opinion and key insights. We appreciate
Thanks
you.
To all,
time.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks to all the participants also for joining this and listening me.
So once again, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you making time in your busy schedule to speak to our participants. I am sure with your valuable views and your guidance, our audience definitely will get benefited. And now they might have got an idea about the artificial intelligence career. So thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you today. We wish you all a great success in your endeavor. Thanks a lot. Thank you.